Morning everyone. How beautiful is it out here today? So glad I came to find this place. It's a new woodland that's about 15 miles from home. Well, it's meant to be 15 miles, but if you do what I did this morning and get lost, it turns out to be about 30 miles. The sat-nav, blame the sat-nav, kept rerouting me, and I ended up doing a lovely tour of West Shropshire. I've pretty much seen everywhere now, but I made it and I'm on the right track, judging by the size of some of these old oak trees. I'm definitely in the right place. So it's an ancient oak woodland that apparently has around 35, 40, 300-year oaks, and they're all congregated in this tiny little woodland that you wouldn't know by looking at the map, so you do have to do some research. And I'm coming on scouting trip number 1, so this is probably going to be one of a few, providing this woodland does turn out to be good and I'm allowed in there. I think I am. I'm sure it's open to public, but we'll find out. So yeah, it is going to be one of 3, or 4 or 5, depending on how things go. And it's a little project I've been thinking of putting together for a while. The first one will be me finding it and my first kind of trip there. Second one will be obviously connection, finding some photos, potential photos, and then 3, 4, maybe 5 will be my portfolio photos, hopefully. So there are some bluebells in the area, and I've got some high hopes. I have driven through a little bit of mist around the lower parts of this hill this morning, so with any luck there'll be some lovely misty mornings awaiting me when I visit at a later date. It's for moments like that that I do all of this. Discovering a woodland like this, I mean, just listen. Don't know if you can hear, but there's a little tap, tap, tap. Faint tapping of a woodpecker in the distance. It's just beautiful. What a magical morning out here. So I've probably walked about 50 metres from the entrance to the woods and I'm in love already. It's different, it's very different to lots of woodlands that you see. It's wild, but within the wild nature of it all, I can just see little pockets of potential, and I just know that this is going to produce some magnificent photos over the next few weeks, and even later in the year when the autumn colours. I shouldn't think too far ahead, because I've got a lot of photography to go between now and autumn. But yeah, I'm just looking around and I can see already that there's lots of spring leaves on some of the trees, and I can just see potential. I try not to think too much about actual taking of photographs on the first few visits. Maybe, obviously, if something amazing happens, then I'll find something. But the first visit, especially, is just for moments like this. It's just for sitting against a humongous oak tree, enjoying my coffee, just really getting outside of my head and being here. So that's my main focus of today, is to just find some places that I like and just form that connection to the place that I'm photographing, because I think that's more important than the results themselves, is putting yourself in the place and really adopting the spirit of each location that you go to, because each woodland, each mountain, each lake, anywhere you visit has its own stories. You know, you just have to get lost in your imagination and think about maybe previous generations of people who've been there, and just really think a little bit further than just a photo, because, you know, that's what it's all about. So yeah, this is my process for today, is to just admire the place. So I just took a few steps, obviously onto that hillside there, and I can see that there's bluebell shoots, which is why I turned around. I think that could make for some good potential. It's just a case of where can I get to, you know, to take some photos without damaging any of the bluebells when they spring. So it'll be interesting to see how this little scene develops over the next few weeks. So what I can see up there is 1, 2, 3, 4 veteran oaks. Obviously this one here, the oldest of the bunch, you can tell by the metamorphosis that it's gone through to make sure that it doesn't have to pump nutrients too high onto the branches above, so it's shrunk itself. So I mean, providing I can get up there along the top somewhere, then there's going to be some really interesting photographs available up there. One of the first things that I think about when I'm approaching a new woodland is direction of light and available light. And one thing that became apparent when I stepped foot in here is that it's actually southwest facing, so that's going to make early morning light hard to come by. I mean, it's not the be all and end all. There's still plenty of chances in different conditions. It doesn't always have to be magical morning light and fog It's just going to mean that I'm going to have to think differently, and where the sun is going to set, which is interesting, will be over in that direction, and it's got quite a nice opening which is going to light this woodland very nicely at sunset. And this is why it's important to just walk around and observe a place. This is one of those that I talked about before, where you see something and sometimes there's a photograph there. Well, this is one of those scenes. I wasn't really looking in the hope to find a photograph right away today, but this is just a gorgeous little scene with three one is right on its last legs there. In fact, no, I don't know, there might be some leaves falling on the top. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. But yeah, just three wounded soldiers. There's branches all over the floor where they're hanging on to life. They're fighting a lot of battles, obviously, with strong winds and nearing the end of their lives. Some of these have been here for 300 years, so that they've not got long left on the planet. But it's just a beautiful little arrangement of three wise old guardians of this woodland, and it's definitely one that I'm going to be coming back to very soon, probably as soon as there's some good conditions, just hiding kind of the space at the end. So I'll need some fog, and if I'm predicting this light correctly, I'll get some really gorgeous backlight in here, which should obviously create a really nice soft glow to those. And yeah, when those oak leaves start coming through, it's just going to look a glorious little scene. So this is a fairly usual habit for me now, is to just be in the scene. I've seen a potential photo, so I'll just spend as much time as possible now on my next few visits, just kind of taking in, building some memories, observing, and just being a part of it. Before I gather a photo, I feel like it adds a bit more depth and meaning to an image if you've got some stories to tell of your own time spent in there, and just, like I said before, about absorbing the energy and the spirit of the place. Wow. Just look around at this place. It is spectacular. I'm made up to have come and discovered this location. It's just blown me away. I've been here a couple of hours now, just walking around, sitting, drinking coffee, taking everything in, listening to the sounds of the birds, the woodpeckers, the squirrels, and just admiring every bend in these twisted old branches, each one telling a different story of the tree itself, which is clearly 300 years old. Like I said before, I think there's 35 in here that are around the same sort of age. So it's really a special place, and these trees have seen a lot in their lifetime, and I just can't wait to see what I can come up with, photographically speaking now. Yeah. So I've actually spent a little bit too long out here today. I was meant to call it a day at about 9 o'clock. It's now, I think it's 10 o'clock, half 10, but I just can't help it. Look, look, it's just incredible. It's a lost world. So this does regularly happen. I think in one of my last videos I spent 7 hours in the woods that I'd intended to spend 2 hours. Oh, there's a crisp packet, so just do my bit. It's full of something, I'm not going to find out what it is. So yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful little spot. And I've just seen another potential photo, which wasn't my focus today, but sometimes you just can't help it when you're in a place like this. Wow. There we go. Oh my goodness me. Talk about saving one of the best scenes till last. I'm gonna have so much fun in here. Wow. So I've actually been waiting a long time to discover something new. Nearly a year actually since I found a new woodland to explore, and yeah, I've really been pulling my hair out just thinking, you know, where can I go? I've searched high and low. Locally I don't like to travel too far, so in my local area I feel like I've exhausted every location, but clearly there's always more to see. So yeah, I'm just so excited to be here. I'm actually going to have to call it a day for this first video now because both my batteries are about to die. Silly me didn't charge them up, so yeah, I think they were exhausted from my last trip. I scouted a woodland, filmed a full video, and then decided that I wasn't going to go back to the woodland because it was just not what I had imagined it to be. This one, well, I don't think I could ask for much more in terms of just beauty, tranquility, peace, and photography potential, which come as a result of how I feel about this place. It just puts me at complete rest. So yeah, I can't wait to capture how I feel about this place through my photos in the next couple of videos. The next one will be me focusing more about what I'm seeing in terms of photography potential, so there'll be some technical knowledge going into those videos as well, as opposed to me just connecting. That's all still going to be part of the process of connecting as well, but there'll be a little bit more actually of taking photos, taking scouting images, and yeah, still working on that connection and love for the place. But yeah, I hope you'll join me again. Thank you.